My Gavanin. My name is Dave Lewis, and I love The Lord of the Rings, and I just saw The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, episodes 1 and 2. And if you're worried about this, don't be. Please don't be. Honestly, it was a lot, but a lot in a good way. There are a lot of things in this show that you'll be able to pick out from different things within the lore. A lot of little nods to things like the Children of Húrin, Feanor, the Silmarils, references to Aule. So there's a lot of things here that they can't specifically say, but there's a lot of little cute little nods to it, and that I really enjoyed. There definitely is a fidelity to Tolkien and his writings and his legendarium. One of the main themes that we go through within these two episodes is war trauma and how how war affects us all, whether it be personally, spiritually, or through the world that we live in. I thought that was a beautiful kind of thing that Tolkien really talks about in his writings, throughout his whole writings, that how our actions affect the land as well as ourselves. There was a lot of new characters. Yes, there are a lot of new characters, but they do stay true to who the archetypes are, who the races that they belong to, their true self. Even that includes the Harfoots, which I wasn't crazy about. Me being a purist when it comes to like kind of elves and things like that. I'm more excited about elves and these stories that the show is kind of based on loosely, with the Silmarillion and Unfinished Tales and things like that. But they were fun. They were a lot of fun, and they have a whole new interesting twist on the story with the Stranger, who I might say this. I don't think he's Gandalf. I think he might be Saruman. Mark that later. I don't know if it'll actually happen, but maybe it is. But in terms of that, the characters are great. The new characters are a lot of fun. They're interesting. There's stories behind them in relation to previous stories that Tolkien talks about in his Legendarium. There's things that are well connected. They're all characters that are well connected to the lore, even though they are new characters. And they're a lot of fun. There are a lot of great, hopeful kind of things for this show. There are some things that I'm not crazy about. The Harfoot's accent is a little weird. I'm surprised they wanted to go for like a Celtic, Hiberno, English, Irish kind of thing. It's just felt like there was no continuity there with the accents. That kind of pulled me out a little bit of it. But I do like their purpose within this show and what they're going to do, and how they're going to do that kind of thing. The shots, I mean, they're beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. There's a couple scenes, especially within the Elven Kingdoms, where I'm like blown away. There's a sequence where we're going to Valinor, and as someone that's very religious, very Christian, that was just wow. This is like, people say Valinor, or the elves, the West, as they talk about. You see Frodo and Gandalf and a couple other elves go into the West at the end of the Return of the King. It took my breath away. It really did. But yes, so Galadriel's great. Morfydd Clark is amazing in this role. She's very good from what I've seen so far, with her passion, her deep sense of grief. I do really wish that we got to see Finrod, Felagund, her brother, a little bit more. But from what we do see of the hints and nods to, without actually saying specifics to the Silmarillion, whether it be the Dagger of Bragollach or the Nirnaeth or Noidiyad or anything like that, we get references to those things, like I said before, but we don't see them specifically. I would have liked to see a little bit more of that, and how that drives the characters, and how that drives the characters that we see in this show. Maybe we'll get more of that. I really hope we do, especially with Numenor and Gil-Galad and how that affects their relationship. I definitely can't wait to see more, and I'm very, very happy with it. I'm really hopeful, as the actor Benjamin Walker, I think it is, who plays Gil-Galad, said at the premiere yesterday, that he thinks that, and he hopes that this show will really have more people get into the Silmarillion, Unfinished Tales, things that not that aren't just the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit. I really hope that other people find the beautiful, rich, heartwarming, hopeful, human encompassing stories that Tolkien wrote, and came up with, to really show the world how beautiful it is and how sorrowful that beauty can be sometimes, and how hopeful it can all be all at once. I hope you enjoy it. Please let me know what you think down below.